Hi everyone. Today, Ron and I will talk you through why you should not do something. Sometimes inaction is a really good path. I know it's really unusual for corporates to follow that path, but sometimes just wait it out. So chapter 1, guys, it's just hype. Your products already work. I mean, they're amazing. And let's face it, the margins in embedded insurance are horrible because the distributor's taking everything. So let's kind of work that out. You're just not going to make money in embedded insurance. They're going to take really high commissions, and unless the regulator is coming out, you should really focus on your high margin products. Compliance is a B. Right? It's really complicated, it's across markets, it's different lines of business. Maybe your distribution partner has a license, doesn't have a license, certainly doesn't know the difference between a broker license and introducer. You get the gist, right? Talk to your lawyer. That's always the first thing you want to do when starting a new business. IT, you're going to overburden your IT. We all know that the digital transformation is going like candy. Guidewire is solving all the problems. It comes Tuesday, your IT department is bored, they're knocking on your door, they're asking for sprint tickets, and now you'll have that low volume, low revenue distractions. Cannibalization. So this is when the really smart people, so everyone with an MBA is now going to raise their hand. And they're going to say, but what about our existing channels, right? It's a strategy, it's a strategic play. We might risk something. So don't do that, right? You might actually cannibalize something. Someone's got to own it. Someone's got to work for it, someone's got to own it, and that incentive structure might not be there in a corporate. And you've been at this business for so long. Customers love your products, they love the coverage levels, and to simplify or to customize, who needs that? And as we all know, and that's why we shouldn't come to these conferences, because it's all hype. Everyone talks about AI. 3 years ago, people talked about blockchain, and they came and they went, but you're still standing, and so better wait it out. Chapter 2.
Nick, you know why I love discussing with you. You're always well prepared, and I think you listened into the board meetings of basically my shareholder, because I heard really all of your arguments before. However, embedded insurance is not bought. It is where life happens. The right product, the right time, and this place is usually not crowded. So many players here in Asia, now also in Europe, have showed that embedded insurance can work. But it is very important to start, because while you and all the naysayers in our organization have moaned around, others went to training camp. While we debate here on stage, others start to scale. Here in Asia, Grab Insurance, Klug, they all did it. Allianz partners with Amazon in Germany. We have Santander all over Europe. So they have left stage 1 and they're starting to scale right now. They understood that. And the figures there are a number of surveys, and it could be 700 billion, it could be 600 billion, like we estimated a third of it, at least in Asia. It is a big enough market. And then people like you say, well, the margins don't add up. Sometimes they don't, and you probably have to do it right. But this is why they all went to training camp, right? There are a number of players which are profitable right now. Look at Cover Genius, not only here, also in Europe. Look at others. I said it's not really crowded over there. where you are in embedded insurance. Think about booking your trip, booking your event with Klug, with Get Your Guide. Will you then nonchalantly call your agent, hey, I want to cancel for any reason? No, you buy it right there where it is. And do you really think that these buyers are basically otherwise stolen from your agents? Your agents will never see them. Your brokers will never see them. It's the other way around. Figures here with Ping An and figures in Germany with your friends at Gotha, they showed that you actually have a positive feedback loop with adding embedded insurance and then being sold by helping your agents to actually even sell more. Conversion, yes, benchmarks not 2-3%. We have started with an airline at 8, and I think without too much ado, we will get to 16, and we're still far away from what AirAsia does here with 30+%. So it all depends on where do you place it, what's your product, what's the UX and the product timing. But you have to be fast. You have to be fast. You have to shell out new products in a few weeks, not months. You have to adjust, and you have to get rid of your corporate mindset, slow decisions. If you do it right, then embedded insurance will add revenue, it will add bottom line, and it will help you to understand your customers a little bit better.
Okay, let's say I believe you. Now I'm changing. Okay, let's say that is true. So we have $1 billion opportunity. Now we're going to meet. It's very important that everyone's informed and we have really good slides because everyone, needs to, I guess read. And let's put a lot of people in that actually don't own results. Okay, let's break this down. So what we then see a lot is everyone kind of agrees on a strategic level. Now everyone has an opinion. It's like marketing. Everyone has an opinion, and everyone's opinion matters, and it's probably not the same thing. And everyone's actually a closeted entrepreneur, right? Let's face it. Everyone in a corporate job is actually a closeted entrepreneur. They actually know how to build. They maybe have seen a show or two about it. They know that presenting is really, coming to these events is really cool. It's really important. Here's where you build. And deciding, the more the merrier. Let's put it to the committee and let's call it strategy, because that's what we learned at MBA bootcamp. So culture. I mean, everyone gets culture, but now let's see. A shortcut, is that a good thing? I mean, it sounds like cheating, right? So let's not do shortcuts. Let's do long cuts. Relationships, that sounds like a shortcut. It's like you bring relationships from your previous job to your current role to get a shortcut and get things faster. That sounds, who's going to tell that to your procurement department? And let's report the hell out of everything, because results, they're kind of difficult because you might, it's very simple. You either reach them or you don't, and it's I don't know. I don't know whether that's in your 360 feedback every year, and then let's move on. So now let's play this back and let's say, okay, I don't know. We want to go to an airline, right? So what we're going to tell them. Let's get the same people on board who normally talk to brokers or agents who are experts at coverages and who have customers who want that or experienced with that, and let's talk about cheaper cover and better terms. Let's not talk about how they are actually going to 2 or 3x their customers because they're the distributor, right? I mean, because you would now have to think about what's informed choice, what's the bandwagon effect. What about, that marketing, the 4 Ps of marketing that you learned in your MBA? Now you need to apply that to actual language somewhere. And I don't know, it sounds like a lot of work. Coming back to the lawyer, bring them to the effing pitch. That's the best way to start it, right? And everyone knows the best relationship always started with, this is not a legal consultation. And then you start with explaining regulation, because the really thing, what everyone loves, especially when they have a non-insurance business, is understanding about all the regulatory intricacies when they're trying to sell an airline ticket. Product. So again, we have all of the products, and let's, we don't, we've heard on a conference like this, don't build what you can't sell. All right, but we can sell products, so let's prove them that they can sell our products, and then maybe we can improve them. And I mean, we're the insurance people, and we know what the customer wants, and we know in order to quote a motor insurance product, we need to have 17 or 70 data points. And they'll work it out. Pricing, I mean, I'm not an actuary. I tried it was really hard, so I thought underwriting was better. But let's say I know, I tell you how much an insurance product costs, because I know what you need in terms of coverage, and then you'll just put it into your journey. Or, not the other way around, to say, you don't give me a price, and then I'll tell you what the best coverage levels are, because, again, that sounds like a lot of work. Claims, now this is my core competency. I'm an insurer, I do claims, and we really need to look at every claim in detail, because let's face it, if I can regulate a flood, I can regulate a device protection claim really well, and Guidewire is a great system for everything. So let's do that, and we're the experts, so let's go up. Now, so let's also assume that every platform is the same. I don't really need to know the difference between a retailer, a classified, and a marketplace. And if I talk to this partner and they say, oh, you just need to give me like 100,000, whatever currency that is, and then I'll place your product, that sounds like a great idea. My marketing people love it. And let's go for top-line commission only. And even better, let's do really long, like a 3-year contract to lock in that volume, and then what can go wrong. What we shouldn't do is figuring out and trying to explain to them what a profit share is, on how to manage profitability, because again, then I need to get my lawyer involved. So incentives don't really matter, and they should be the same. What I always loved is, and that's again the closeted, how you can find a closeted entrepreneur? When they call a product or a business a project. That's how they give it away, because that has a clear starting and an end point, like a business. You start, you set your milestone, and you finish, and then you're off to the next thing. That's exactly what the entrepreneurial journey is like. The most important thing you need is managers, right? I mean, ideally, you have people who are not getting too much into the details. They need to coach people. They don't need to provide answers. Questions are really good and encouraged. People need to feel empowered. And then they'll manage that away. And, the momentum then comes because everyone's empowered. And, that should, but then let's call it a venture. Because if we call it a venture, that's really cool as well. I mean, tech. God, didn't we have like an online channel? Or didn't we do a corporate venture with a really cool PaaS system? Isn't that digital? We should do that. Or don't we have an innovation team? Or they're sprinting away every 2 weeks. So let's do that, and let's put it on that digital technology, because that should be enough. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh yeah, optimization. So what you don't want to do, right? You don't really want to touch the product the whole time, because, at the end of the day, don't we all know, in my experience, my first decision is always the best. I usually don't learn anything along the way, so let's stay with the first decision that we all agreed upon, and then let's not tweak and test it because we might actually learn something along the way. It's also that the boss man or boss woman, they might not be right, and at the end of the day, the distributor will figure it out. Licensing, again, that's a legal thing, so it should be okay, right? I mean, whether they're a broker, whether they're an introducer, whether it's connected contracts, whether they opt in, opt out, the legal team will figure it out afterwards. You know, let's not worry about that. And by the way, I'm in business development, that's legal, or I'm in product, that's legal. So I shouldn't figure that out. It's already, you know, that's what the lawyers are for.
You landed some hits, and what hurt me especially is the legal slide, because they actually made me hire a lawyer as the first person, while I said...
You're also a licensed lawyer.
But I left the dark side many, many years ago.
True.
So, and I said, I will hire 10 salespeople first. However, I'm happy that we left the if, and we ended up now in how to make it actually work, even if you have a lawyer on a team, and it works even with lawyers. So I think what you need is 3 requirements and then 3 things to keep in mind. The good thing is, like I said before, others paid the tuition already. So it's not a pitch anymore, not like when I started first 10 years ago with a pitch for a companion. Many others, including Allianz, who we just mentioned, paid many, many millions and developed this pitch into a playbook which is ready to copy, ready to leverage, ready to use, and ready to refine as well. So about the 3 requirements, what my shareholder should have done first is to get everybody behind this if decision. And they managed to do this. It took them a little bit of time, but you need clear commitment. They want to do it. And then you need somebody who doesn't view it as a project. You need somebody who is not the PowerPoint ninja with rudimentary Excel skills to set up a business case, but somebody who goes out there, who knocks all the doors, who owns the numbers, and ideally who has done it before, who knows what it takes to win. And then ideally, this person gathers around a team, and that is something which is especially hard if you're in a corporate venture, because the hire fast, fire fast does not apply. Once you pick somebody, it's really, really hard. Don't make mistakes with this. So you need people also in your team who've done it before. I don't know if they have to carry the scars and know how to avoid new ones, but they should have some experience in there, and they should have some passion for that. And then I think with these requirements, you're well set to make it work, and then go out. Don't finish the shopping mall until you figured out how to get the people inside, how to attract the people who buy from you. Sell first, then build behind the curtains. Be fast. You need to be live, you need to be passionate, you have to come up with new products. Well, 90 days is almost the maximum, I would say, because if you talk to digital platforms, they don't understand. They say, you're around for, I don't know, 100 years as an insurer, 150 years. You should have figured out by now how to cover risks and do that. So you don't need to prove the concept, but you also don't need to pilot. You don't need to do MVPs. Because in consulting, that's what you call this draft stamp. That's the shit stamp, right? It's the I tried and I don't have to succeed. So go out, sell, and prove the numbers. But be fast. I mean, I think 3 years ago we said you're late to the party, right? And but there's still something at the buffet, but move now, catch up, and board ideally with people who've done it before, who know how to do it. That is why we boarded with you. You have done it before. especially from the tech sides, 100 plus products, lots of premiums, lots of partners, and I think you carried away some of the scars you mentioned on one of the slides.
I know time's up, but I have to admit, the one thing that I totally underappreciated is how to get commitment in a boardroom, and you absolutely need that, and you need someone to understand that corporate mindset. I think it became pretty clear that I don't. So, you know, team up with that. And yeah, from strategy to tech, you know, there's lots and lots of people. Just because it's new to you, it's not new to the market. You know, appreciate that. You know, steal with pride. And yeah, your move. Thanks for listening 45 seconds longer than you should have.